If I have to push the go live button on, yeah, I have to. Anyway. So let me grab this. Quickly put it on Twitter. What are we doing today? So more precisely, I'm working on setting up the booking booking system for the text to speech project. And let's just put the YouTube link. Let's remove that feature share. I don't like that. And then Twitch. All right. And let's just send it like that. I don't want to look for the picture. Let me copy this. And then let's go to Discord. Please don't update. All right. Okay. That takes care of that. You go away, you go away. I said you go away. What a legend. I'm gonna need you. And no, not that. Oh, actually, I had this here. There you go. Do I have it open? Yes, I do. Zoom in. And let's run vid server. My back is killing me. To say that it has been a day would be an understatement. But we have to power through and get through it, you know? Don't let the day beat you, you beat the day. All right, so as I stated in the tweet, this is what I want to do today. This radio station ads project is going to have a booking component where a user will select a radio station. It's going to select a date, and based on that, we are only going to have one service, but we'll get to that in a moment. Based on those three criteria, it's going to be able to select available slots for the ad to play on. And this resembles very much a booking system. And what I want to do is create basically the database structure so that we have a good foundation moving forward, and also probably work on the models, relationships, and we are going to play around with one package that we are going to use to make our lives easier when it comes to creating periods of time. And also we are going to look into a the carbon period class that is going to also help us in this matter. So yeah, it's going to be a busy session. Hamad, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for being here. You're awesome. Okay. Now, full disclosure. I am going to be borrowing heavily from a different source. And that source is a course that I watched a few months ago, and that reminded me very much what I want to do here. So the course in question is from Code Course, and it's called Build an Appointment Booking System with Livewire. It is a great course. If you're interested, maybe I can share the link in the description later on. So I would very much recommend that you watch it. And I am going to be borrowing a lot of concepts from this course into this project. Obviously, we're going to change several things so that it fits our needs, but it's going to be quite similar. So just so you know. So let's see, where do we start? Let's start planning out what is it that we need in our database. I think I have a few notes here. So the first thing that we need is obviously a radio station, right? Now the idea is that every station is going to have specific times of day every day for playing ads. So let's say on Mondays they're going to have a slot of time from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. or something shorter, so that they will play ads on that time slot every 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes, they're going to play a 20-second ad that the users have created. So on the user part, the user is going to select a date. They will see, select a radio station. They will see select a date, and they will see how many of those time slots they can select. And they can select multiple time slots on that radio station and date combination. And so if we think about that, we need a radio station, and we also need a radio station schedule. So a schedule basically just needs a radio station, belongs to a radio station. It has, sorry, it has a starting and ending date, so that the radio stations can say, we are going to have this schedule from January to March, just to give you an example. So it's going to have a start date and an end date. And also, they're going to have, for every day of the week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., they're going to have the time of day where they are going to be playing ads. For every day of the week, they're going to have a start time and an end time. Now, that's just going to be the time slot or the time period where the ads can play. Now, the interval of those slots, so here in between the start and end time, we're going to have several slots generated for us. And the interval of that slot is going to depend on the service. So we're going to need a service. Let's call it radio station service. Now the concept of the service here, technically every radio station, it's only going to have one service because as we saw, the service in question is playing ads. But every radio station can choose how often they can play those ads. So maybe one radio station says, we're gonna play ads every 15 minutes. Maybe another radio station is going to play ads every 30 minutes. So technically those are two different services because they have different intervals. So a radio station is going to, does this belong to a radio station as well? So a radio station can have, yeah, it's a belongs to. Usually, if we talk about employees and services, so in a different scenario, it'll be a relationship, a belongs to many relationships. So every employee can perform different services or many services, and every service can be performed by different employees. But in this case, I think what fits most is that every radio station only has one service. So that means that a radio station service only belongs to a radio station, because is the only thing that is going to change on that service is the interval at which the radio station decides to play the only service, which is an ad. So I would say belongs to a radio station. And a service is going to have obviously a price. And that's another thing. Maybe one radio station can decide, okay, we are going to charge more for the ads because we have more audience or something like that. So it's going to have a price. It's going to have an interval or a duration, actually. Let's call it duration. And now this is a very important distinction. This is not the duration of the ad play itself. This is the duration, and in that case, let's call it interval. Because this is the interval at which they are going to play ads. So every 20 minutes, for example, which is the interval here, they're going to play a 20-second ad. So that 20-second ad is always the same length. And we're going to restrict that to a 20-second ad, but they can play that every 10, 15, 20 minutes, which is the interval of the service. Now we're going to use that interval to generate as many slots as we can for every day of the week in this period, starting at this time and ending at this time. How many slots can we generate? And later on, we are going to then cross-check that with the amount of slots that have already been booked on that time slot, and only show the ones that are available, and etc. So at least I think this gives us a good starting point for the database structure. Let me see if I'm missing something here. Radio station is going to have a name. What else do we need? I think a name that'll be enough for now. Later on, we might have more information. Hey, how you doing, man? So nice to see you again. How's everything going, Sean? Shane? Shane. God. Shane. Always mess it up. So yeah, maybe later we're going to have more information about the radio station, the demographics, the target audience, what kind of music they play, etc. But for now, let's just leave it at name and that's it. Oh, by the way, if any of you are watching on YouTube, I would really much appreciate if you can also follow me on Twitch. And also, if you're watching on Twitch and you are not following, I would very much appreciate a follow. And on YouTube, if you can give me a like as well, that always helps. I'm gonna put the channel link here just in case. Yeah, been a while, going pretty good, man. No complaints. I've been called worse. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna pin this up at the top, and yeah, I started live streaming on Twitch last week, and yeah, I have to promote that thing. Gotta be good at promoting. Thank you so much for the love, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's start with the simplest structure here, which is the radio station. Close a few things. All right. Let's do. Keep up the good work, bro. I will. Thank you so much. Appreciate the encouragement. And you too, man. Keep up the good work as well. So jealous that you got to work to Latacon. That you got to go to Latacon, man. That I can imagine how cool that was. I'll have to wait for Latacon, Costa Rica. Crossing my fingers. So let's do PHP artisan make model. Let's make a model. Let's call it radio station. Is kind of a mouthful. Just call it station. Let's go with radio station. Radio station -m to make a migration. Let's open that real quick. Create radio stations. And let's do for now just one column. String name. All right. Should be enough. Next. Let's create the service. We need to create two things. No, it's just one. So it's going to be a radio station service. No, let's just call it service. PHP artisan make model service. Again, make a migration as well. First thing we are going to do is a foreign ID. I'm going to use foreign ID. I'm getting used to use the foreign ID method. And the argument here is that less use statements are at the top. So less dependencies. In this case, we only have to pass the column name here. So foreign ID will be, this is for the radio station, right? So service belong to a radio station. So radio station ID, if I'm not mistaken, that should be the column name. Let's make it constrained. Next, we need a price. So this would be, so there is an argument here about using cents. So using an unsigned integer for this column type and using cents as the representation of the price. And I don't know what you guys think. The advantage of that is, I think that the course that I was mentioning, they use this Laravel money package. And that pretty much helps with formatting. So you can just use US dollar 500 and that'll be $5. But I don't know if that's actually more confusing than it needs to be. Because on the other side, I can use actual dollars and make the column maybe, what's the type? A decimal? I forget the type. Yeah, make the column a decimal. Use dollars with float values. You always use cents? Okay. And you find that to be more easy when it comes to dealing with money and payments and etc. I don't know if you have used any payment integrations, because what I'm concerned is, what if when I get to the part where I'm connecting Paddle to pay for stuff and Paddle doesn't like cents? What's going to happen then? And the only amount that I can give Paddle for a payment is in dollars with a floating point for cents instead of an integer for cents. Does that make sense? I just basically I don't want to go all the way down to the payment integration just to realize that cents will not work with Paddle or Stripe or whatever payment integration there is. In fact, why don't we look at the documentation real quick? Let's actually look at Paddle. Not here. Paddle. Laravel Cashier Paddle. Paddle Sandbox, API keys, Paddle.js, Quick Start, selling products. Doesn't matter. You can manipulate those values however you want when you, oh, right. That makes sense. I don't have to send the cents value from the database. Can you take that value, format it into dollars, and then send it to Paddle? Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, kind of best practice, to be honest. Okay. Thank you, George. By the way, hi. How you doing? Sorry, I didn't say hi. Thank you for being here and for helping me out. Okay, so in that case, let's use an unsigned integer for the price. And then we need the interval. Hi, how you doing? We need another unsigned integer. So table unsigned integer. And this will be for the interval. And this interval we are going to use, it's going to be in minutes. I don't know how verbose I should be with the column. Do you guys, when you have a column like this, do you use the column name interval underscore in underscore minutes, or you just go with interval and trust your memory to say, oh yeah, that's actually in minutes? I can see myself forgetting it, but also this setting a name too long, I'm also very concerned. Not concerned, but it feels icky. Like that. Does that look ugly? That's what I'm concerned. Does it work? No. Does it look ugly? I just care about the optics. Does my code looks ugly? Does it work? Doesn't matter. Does it look ugly? I'm gonna leave it like that because I know myself. And I know, I'm just thinking about how does this look for and someone else who is, I'm just taking the role of a stranger looking at my code. That's kind of that's always the optics that I use, or the approach that I use when writing my code. How would this look to someone else who doesn't know anything about my code and they are just seeing it for the first time? Is it easy to read? Can it be understood without much investigation? Can you just understand it at first glance? And I think interval in minutes is the best choice. What else do we need for this? Yeah, that's it. So belongs to a radio station. It has price in cents and interval in minutes. We could use a description though, right? What about duration, or is it not suitable? Well, yes, but it might be confusing with the duration of the ad itself. So the idea is that every ad, it's a 20-second ad that is going to play using your text transformed into speech. So we are going to constrain the text to 300 characters, which is roughly 20 seconds, I think. I haven't tested out. But basically, duration may be confused with the duration of the audio file. So with interval, that is the interval of time in which a 20-second ad is going to be played. So every 15 minutes, there is going to be an ad, and that is going to be the interval. What is the interval of time where you will hear an ad in the radio? So yeah, it could be confusing. That's why I went with interval. If we were talking about a repair shop or a dentist, so it would make sense that the service itself would have a duration that will directly affect how many slots can I put into a period of time. So if a service lasts 30 minutes, then every slot will be 30 minutes. That'll be the interval of every slot, the duration of the service. But in this case, it's a little bit different. Every ad lasts 20 seconds, but they are played frequency, that's right. But isn't that a synonym? I'm going to look it up. Not you, not you. Similar words, interim, interlude, meanwhile, recess gap, maybe not. Gap, distance, span. So it's kind of in this distance, span, area, space, gap. We could use, how about this? Add frequency in minutes. Quite a mouthful, but there is no ambiguity. Or let's just get rid of the add and just frequency in minutes. Service frequency in minutes. I kind of like interval more. Sorry. I'm coding. I make the final call. But thank you so much. That was a very good suggestion. Ignored. What was it that oh, here, description. Table, string, description. Okay, that's all for services. Okay, so you go away. We have radio stations. We have services. Now we need schedules. Now this table might look ugly, but after watching the course that I mentioned before, it makes a lot of sense and it makes things a lot easier when dealing with slots and periods and bookings, etc. So this is what we're going to do. First, let's create a new model. So this will be called schedules. Let's call it schedules. Schedule. This is a model. All right, so let's create the schedule model. Go to create schedule stable, and here we're going to add basically the same for an ID here. Oh, not that. What are you doing? There you go. So the schedule also belongs to a radio station. And we have two dates here. So table date starts at another one for ends at. Okay, so this is the time period in which ads can be played. So I'm defining a schedule for for this radio station. You can define the schedule for a radio station for a whole year, for example. For this 12 months, you are going to have a specific schedule for every day of the week. That's basically what it means. So we have a start date and an end date. Now, for every day of the week, and this is the part that actually it felt icky at the beginning when I was looking at it, but then it started to make sense. But that's a long way of saying don't hate me. This I didn't come up with this idea. So we're going to have a table time, and let's say we have Monday starts at, come on, and then Monday ends at. So we're going to have 2 columns for each day of the week, and those columns will be what is the time period for that day in which the radio station is going to be playing ads. Let's say on Mondays they play ads from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. On Tuesdays they play ads from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Something like that. So, and that weekly schedule is going to be applicable to the start date and end date and that period of time. So 3 months, this is your weekly schedule for every day of the week. So this is going to be boring. I'm sorry. Let's Monday, Tuesday. So you have to watch the whole thing. Tuesday and sad. And then take this, paste. Wednesday. Can I do? No. Okay. And then Thursday. Hey, Milan, how you doing? So nice to see you again as well. Thank you for joining me. Friday. You might want to select a day and use Control D. Control D doesn't work on my environment, unfortunately, because I have VinMotions installed. That actually won't let me use it. Well, it would let me, but then editing that is going to be a pain. So I'm doing it the slow way, which is actually faster than trying to figure out how to do it with VinMotions and Control D. But thank you. That's. I know it's painful to watch. Saturday. Almost done. Sunday. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's it. All right, that's that table. Okay. Now this next part, I can either go directly to the database and add things to it, or I can do it with factories and seeders. I would rather do it with factories and seeders. So let's first run the migrations, make sure that there is no errors there. So did I forget to save anything? No, I think we're good. PHP artisan migrate. Good, we have our tables. Now, let's create a few records. I don't have factories. I forgot to create the factories for those. No, wait, I don't need the factories. I can use the model. Okay, let's say that this is just for the sake of testing, and so that if I have to make changes to the database later, and I have to reseed or recreate the database, then I'll have all the data available. This is not something that I would normally do for a production application. So let's say that let's start with radio station. So radio station create. Let's say that we want, let's just work with one for now. Let's create one service. Sorry, service. This is going to complain about mass assignment, isn't it? Okay. Radio station ID. I know it's going to be just one. Is it always going to be one? Probably. Radio station 1. Then let's say the price is going to be 1,200 cents, which is $12. And the interval, let's set that at 30 minutes. And we said that's not the name of the column. In minutes. Oh, and a description. Add. Okay, that should be good. And then we need, let's create at least one schedule. Key name. Oh, thank you. Good catch. Good eye. Let's say 2024. 10/01, so October. And let's say it ends on December. Oh, this is going to be a pain. Let's say, let's just create. What was that? What was that? What was that? FPS to 2. Thank you so much for the follow. Caught me off guard. Thank you so much. Say hi, chat. Let's say that we start at Brazil mentioned. Hi. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Thank you for joining me. And thank you for the follow as well. Say that we start at 9 a.m. and ends at 5 p.m. So 17. Do I need the seconds? We'll see. All right. For this schedule, I'm just gonna, I don't want to add the entire week. I'm just going to do 3 days. First 3 days of the week. Can I do this? Let me try something. I think I can. I think I know how to do it. So it's the block. Select Monday, then change. Yeah, Tuesday. That would have been a lot faster with the migration. So Tuesday, same schedule. That's not a very believable schedule, though. I don't care. Any reason why you're not using factories? Because I am a dumbass and I forgot to create them when I was making the models. So it would take me double the time to do this in the seeder and then, no, actually create the factory and then do this in the seeder. And I don't really need fake data. So yeah, but mainly I'm a dumbass. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, I have to make all of this. I have to make them nullable, which is going to be a pain. Actually, let's do this. So visual block, 14 lines down, actually 13. And then I think the command is, let's replace this pattern with this pattern. Yeah, that was quick. VinMotions, highly recommended. Nullable, nullable, nullable. The ID row numbers look funny. Yeah, that's because if you take a look at this says 32. That's the actual line number. But I turned on relative line numbers so that I know how much I have to jump if I want to. For example, if I'm on line 32 and I want to quickly go up to the table ID, you see that it has a 17 next to it. So I can just do 17 up and I just jump right up. So it's a technique that I learned from the Primogen. So it's kind of funny at the beginning, but it's very useful. And if something is not on my screen, I can use control. Well, I have it set it to control D on my keyboard so that I can jump like a page down. And when I see the line that I want, then I can do 14 down and I get the line that I want. So it's kind of a way to move faster in your editor using VinMotions. Okay, so at this point, let's try and run that seeder and see what happens. Oh, it's going to fail because the mass assignment. So let's see. Easiest way would be to go nuclear and just on guard everyone, or I can go to each individual model, on guard every model, or I can actually define the mass assignment for each table, but I don't want to do that. Let's go with the specific but nuclear. So let's go to radio station model. Check this out. 9 down, O to add a line, and then protected, guarded. And let's set that to an empty array. Again, this is just for testing purposes. This is not something I would do on production. If I were to take this into production, I would most definitely come back here and then use the fillable array, which is more granular. But in this case, since I have a table with 17 gazillion columns, I kind of want to go with this approach. So yeah, this one's done. Let's go to service. 9 down, O, protected. Actually, delete that. Go back, yoink, go back, paste. Save and yoink again. Let's go to schedule. 9 down, O, paste. Save. All right, let's try the database seeder now. PHP artisan db seed. And I fully, oh, wait. Before I do that, let's open the database seeder again, and let's comment out this line about the user. Oh, sometimes I don't do the right amount. So let's comment out this. So GP, no, actually that. I don't need another user in the database. Save that. Now we do the seeder, and it failed. Oh, of course. Integrity constraint violation. Schedules Thursday. Did I say Thursday wrong? Or is it not? I have to, okay, I made it nullable. I didn't rerun the migrations. Okay, makes sense. So PHP artisan db, no. Migrate / seed. Migrate fresh -- seed. Woohoo! Okay, we did it. Now, technically, we should have data in our tables. Let's look for, refresh this. I said refresh. How do I refresh? Reload. Reload workspace. Is this the right database? No, this is the Kanban board. Makes sense. All right, so let's open a new connection. I think I have it saved. Here it is. Text to ads. We have services. It has data. We have schedules. And we have radio stations. Cool. All right. We have data in our database, and we can start working with that. At this point, I think I want to bring in the package that I need to use for the periods. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so the basic idea about slots, maybe this doesn't really work. So we're going to have a date. So basically an array of dates, or just one date. Because if I think about it now, the form would let me choose one date at a time. So the way that it's going to work is the user is going to choose a radio station, and the user will always have 5 days into the future. That's how I'm thinking about it. So that you can only choose whether today, tomorrow, or 3 days in advance. When the user selects one of those dates, then I'm going to go and say, okay, give me all of the slots for this radio station on this date based on the schedule. So we're going to have the date, and on that date, we're going to have several slots, and those slots are going to have a time. And this is the part that I'm not really sure. The way that the course describes it, it's we are going to have an array of stations that are able to fulfill that slot on that date, on that time. But they were doing it with a belongs to many relationship between the station and the service. So the service is actually the ad. So I don't know. Well, no, because I've always, not always, at the time of looking for slots, I already know that I want only the slots for one specific radio station. You first select the radio station. Sorry. You first select the radio station, then select the date, and then you see all the slots for that radio station on that date. So this array here may not, it may, so that I always have an array of slots, and I only choose the ones where the radio station is listed. So the slots are separate from the radio station that I chose. So I'm always going to generate a bunch of slots for that date and with a bunch of times, and I only choose to show the ones for that specific radio station. Maybe that'll be easier. So we're going to bring in this package here from Spatty, of course, and it's called period. That basically just allows me to generate an array of periods of time based on a start date and an end date. And you can make those periods based on a precision. So if you put 2 dates and you want periods based on days, then you get several days. If you start with a time and a start time and an end time, and you set the precision to minutes, for example, then you get a bunch of periods, or you get a period in just minutes. So I think I'm going to use the minute in this scenario. Let's install this. And since we are installing things, let's also bring the money package that I mentioned before. Okay. Oh, we should define the relationships right away. So let's start with radio station. Radio station, based on what I wrote, has many services. So it's going to have one only. So I think it belongs to one would be more appropriate. Anyway, has one. I don't want to be too limiting. Let's just open it to has many. You never know. Okay. And the radio station also has many schedules. Can have many schedules. Okay, let's do the opposite. Let's go to service. Jeez. If I define, I don't remember, if I define a relationship like this in camel case, I can then, what am I doing? I can then use it like this, right? Or do I have to use camel case as well? No, that's easy to test, to be honest. This say belongs to. So let's say that we want a service equals to service find one. Okay. If I say service radio station, no. Okay, camel case. Camel case. That's all right. It's all right. So service belong to a radio station. Now we need to go to schedule. Yeah. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Let me check my notes real quick. I have a few notes from the course about how to use the period package. Okay, like this. Oh, did you know that you can use carbon set test now and pass a different date so that let's imagine you're making you're testing things in your application and you need to move a couple of days in the future and you're using carbon, you can just say carbon set test now and pass a carbon instance adding a couple of days, and then all of the subsequent calls to carbon now or carbon whatever will be based on the new date. That's a nice trick. And now you know. Oh, I forgot. Now that I am looking at carbon everywhere, we need to cast a few dates in our models. Let's start with schedule. Starts at, it's going to be date. Ends at, also going to be a date. And I'm guessing I need to cast all of the columns as date time. Yeah. Do I have to though? Cast, oh, thank you. Again, you guys are fantastic. Nothing's getting past you today. Awesome. Hi, Willie. How you doing? I didn't see you there. Okay, so casting that, I'm just thinking if I need to cast the start date as well. I don't think I do. No, I don't. Only the dates. Good. So what was the other one that had dates? One is the schedule. And the other one was... I think just the schedule. Oh, there's also... I knew I'd seen it. In the money package, you can actually cast your column as money, I think. Rules, money, cast. Here we go. So we're going to use money decimal cast. And we can use a currency as well. I wonder if the default currency is US dollars. We'll see. For now, let's just cast, what was it? In the service, I think, the price. Yep. What else do I need to do? Okay, so maybe because we are already approaching an hour and 20 minutes. No, we still have time. Never mind. So the notes that I have here is basically what I kind of want to do, and maybe we could just play around with this for the time being without worrying about how is it going to actually work. So I think the meat and potatoes of the functionality will be the check availability, because here is where we are going to pass a date, but we should also pass, no, not yet. So based on a date, let's work on a date. Don't use store the price as integer in the database. Actually, we made a decision earlier on that we are going to store it as cents in the database. So it's the database has an unsigned integer for the price, but it's stored in cents. So $12, for example, is going to be 1200, so 1200. So the money package is going to help me translate that into an actual money number. We had a vote. It was very close. I lost. So yeah, we're going to have like a check availability. This probably will be a class inside a class or something. And we're going to pass a date into it so that we can check all of the availability for that date. Who was that? Hello? Anika subscribed. Thank you so much, Anika, for the subscription. Welcome. You're awesome. Let's see. So yeah, we're going to pass a date. Then we're going to create a collection of periods. We're going to grab the schedule. So this refers to service. This should be radio station. So yeah, we're checking availability into a service. So this refers to a service, and that service radio station, we're going to grab the radio station that we belong to and then check the schedules on that radio station where the date is in between the one that we're passing. And then we're going to grab the first schedule that we have. And then we're going to use a method called get advertisement period. So basically what we want to know is on that date, what is the period of time in which we are going to play ads. So for example, if the schedule says, if we pass the date that is in between October and December, and if we pass that date into this method, we should have 2 timestamps depending on the date, depending on the day that we are talking about. If it is Monday, then the timestamps will be starts at will be 9 a.m. and ends at will be 5 p.m. That's the main idea. This is more or less pseudocode from the notes that I got on the course I mentioned earlier. And then based on that, we are going to take that start and that end, and we are going to create periods of time that are going to be like the slots based on the start and end time on that date, and we are going to use a minute precision. How many are we going to add though? Oh, that's okay. That's not okay. That's not the slots. It's just a period. We're just going to have a period of time. Although this kind of looks like if we had many periods or we were checking many dates, but we are only checking one. I'm not sure what this was about. I might have to go and check again. Oh, I think this is what we want actually. We have a date. We know the interval or the interval in minutes for the service. So we need to generate slots. So we can use carbon period to create slots based on the date that we selected from the start of the day. This should not be start of the day. This actually should be the start time that we got from here. And same with this. So from the start at a certain interval, and then at the end date and time. And we're going to create slots. Yeah, I know that might seem confusing, and my notes are kind of, to be honest, kind of crap, but that's mainly the idea. Let's see if we can play around with this for a while. Starting with this. Let's grab a schedule. Let's use Tinkerbell here. How do we create a carbon date from a string? Let me check. create from date. Kind of. Is there a create from date string? Yes. Let's see if that works. So date, let's say carbon, import carbon if we can. Create from date string. Let's say, I don't know, October 1st, 2024, 10:01. Expected string. Oh, dumbass. Does not exist. Really? Oh, it's an interval. Ugh. Let's try this. Carbon now. Okay. Bad time zone. I don't care about the time zone. That gives me... No, wait. Dang it. Hold on. I can do this. Well, but I have to... The idea is that I have a string that is going to come from a dropdown. So how can I create this from a string? Hmm. There's got to be a way. Instantiation. Carbon. Oh, just pass the string? Oh, okay. Let's try that. So new carbon. New carbon, and let's pass 2024 10:01. Okay, that worked. A lot easier than I thought. Carbon parse it. Yeah, that would have been a nice idea too. But this one worked, and this it looks clean. Do you think? So now I have a date, and I can actually format date. Make sure that I do have it. So format. And let's say I want it on what day? What day is that? That's a Tuesday. Okay. So let's play around with, see if we can get a service out of that. So, or a schedule actually. Let's find the first radio station. So radio station equals to radio station. Fine. Let's just get that one. And let's find the schedules for that radio station where the date is in between that. So I'm gonna get a schedule out of radio station schedules where, move this down here, starts at greater than or equal to date. Also where ends at less than or equal to date. Let's grab the first. No. What was the date that I set for? 10:01. Huh. About 10:02. No. How come? Wait, am I doing it right? Oh no, I'm doing it the wrong way. It's the other way around. Starts at has to be less than or equal to date, and ends at has to be greater than or equal to. I'm sure you guys were screaming in the chat. There it is. Okay. So we get a schedule, and the schedule has Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So the idea is that I want to have a method that will give me that starts at and ends at based on the date, and based on the date is a Tuesday. So I should get 9 and 17. Should have made those different though. So how are we doing this? Okay, so let's say that we can do that. We can do it like this. We're going to create an array, or we're going to destructure an array. We're going to create two variables, starts at and ends at. That's going to be equal to array filter. And inside array filter, we're going to use schedule. This is probably going to be a function inside the schedule model. But here we're going to directly use the schedule. And we're going to reference one column dynamically. We're going to lowercase the day. We're going to use the date format. Give me the day. And concatenate starts starts at, copy that, paste it, and we're going to use ends at. Okay. Must be of type array. I didn't do array, didn't I? Okay. Yes, I didn't. I didn't. Okay, do that again. Nice. Okay, that works. So we can get a schedule based on a date. Now the radio station is going to also, okay, so we're going to have a drop down for a radio station that is going to give us the radio station to look for schedules. So we're going to have a radio station, and then on that radio station, after the user selects the radio station, they're going to select a date. We're going to take that date from that dropdown, and we're going to turn it into a Carbon instance, and we're going to query the schedules for that radio station, make sure that that radio station has schedules in that date. We're going to grab the first one, and then we're going to get based on the day of that date using format L, we're going to grab the starting date, the starting time and ending time on that day for that date. That's kind of confusing, but basically at the end, what we get is, okay, this radio station can play ads on a Tuesday starting 9 a.m. and ending on 5 p.m. Not realistically, but that's basically it. Then we're going to use these two times to generate slots between those two. So if they are going to play ads every hour, so one at 9, one at 10, one at 11, etc., up until this one here. And I really don't care about, so I'm also including the end. So 17 will be the last time a radio ad is going to play. It's not like I am going to roll over an hour or something like that. 20 seconds at 5 p.m. Good. So that'll be the last ad. And that's where the Carbon period comes into play. So let's see. We're going to have a collection of slots. So let's initialize that here. Empty collection. So the idea is we don't have a service, do we? We're gonna mock it up. So we're going to pretend, well, hold on. We can actually get the service here from, so if we do service radio station, services first. Ideally, also, the form is going to allow you to select the service. So I don't really have to get it from the radio station. I just have to get it from the form. They're going to have a drop down or a radio box or something where they select the service that they want. So at that point in the form, I'm going to have the radio station, the service, and the date. And we are going to use those values to make the calculation of how many slots we can have in that period of time. So for now, let's just get this first service from that radio station. How does that look? Oh, monodecimal cast. Undefined. Did I not? I didn't import that. Right? Of course I didn't. All right. We have the service, and that service has the interval right there. So I'm going to add a few lines here. So we have an empty collection of slots. Let me go back to my notes. So the times are going to be generated using carbon period. So let's see how this works. So times equals carbon period create, and then the parameters for that are can I use starts at here? I hope I do. So starts at no. This is a string. What happens if I do start time equals carbon, sorry, new carbon, and we use date format, maybe? I'm just spitballing here. And let's add starts at. Okay, that gives me a carbon object. Now, is it the right one? So let's say start time format hour minutes. Is this doing time zone changes? Because 12:10 is not what I wanted. I wanted 9. Can I just use this? No, it's different. Come on. Carbon parse. Hmm. Where is the 10 coming from? Oh, you idiot. Sorry. So I'm guessing that was working. Yeah, that was working. And I can use carbon parse for the start time and end time. Now I can use carbon period create with the start time. And what was the other parameter? Carbon period create the start. That's fine. And then the interval in minutes. So this will be service let me put that in a separate. You know what? Let me just hard code it here. We know how it's going to be. So let's just say 30 minutes. And the end will be end time. What do we get from that? The carbon period instance. And according to this, we can iterate over that. So let's say for each times as time. Let's push a slots actually, slots push, and then here they're using a new class for the slot because every slot is supposedly going to have information about what time that slot, the time of the slot, and also the list of, in this case, radio stations that can fulfill that. But I'm just going to push the actual time. And let's format that because I think that's a carbon instance as well. Format. Let's push it as hours, minutes, and AM PM. And at the end, let's just say slots to array. See what we get. There you go. All right, so, well, yeah. Okay, so it starts at 9 a.m., goes all the way. We have a bunch of slots here with their respective time based on the schedule for that day. Now, if, for example, we were to, so that we only have schedules for until Wednesday. So what happens if we select a date? So this will be, what is this? Tuesday? Let's go 2 days in advance. So 3, 4, 5. Technically, that shouldn't give me anything. Well, gave me something. That's not good. Oh, I guess that's because that's because why? So that's a Saturday. Shouldn't be any schedules on that. So no. I get a radio station, that's fine. When I check the schedule, okay, so I get a schedule, but Saturdays are null. Then we get a service. That's fine too. This is the part that I think is screwing up. What happens here? Oh, an empty array. Okay, that's what I expected. Then I collect. Okay, so this part here is the thing that it's just defaulting to a date. So in that case, oh, why don't we do, let's put this inside an if. If this happens, star, let's put that there. If all of that happens, then we do the rest. Really? There. So the slots collect should be before that. Okay, so we create an empty slots array, then we perform this array destructuring, but if this comes up as an empty array, then this if statement is not going to execute, giving us an empty slots array. And that's exactly what it happens. Okay. Let's go back a few days. Gonna be for Tuesday. If I run that again, now we get the slots. Okay. So I got the basics. I got the snippet code that I'm going to be using for generating, at least for visualizing the all of the slots that one day can have based on a radio station schedule, based on the service and a date. So we're going to use all of that and implement it in the wizard that we already have with Filament. And we're going to play around and see where does it fit? Does it fit in what class? Do we create a service class? Do we have this method in this model? Where does it make sense to go? So yeah. But for now, we're going to stop here just short of 2 hours. And we're going to continue with the integration. What is it? Next Monday. This Friday, we continue to work on the Kanban board. And then next Monday, we will continue with this project, Monday and Wednesday. Sounds good? Awesome. Thank you everyone for showing up today. FPS, my first chatter on Twitch. FPS 22 or 22, I don't know. Willie, thank you for showing up. Milen as well. George, thank you for being here. Shane, thank you for showing up as well. Sorry for messing up your name. Hamad, always first in chat. Again, thank you so much for being here. And everyone else watching later on, thank you so much. And as always, if you found this helpful, don't forget to click the like button. Follow me on Twitch if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel as well. And as always, I see you on the next one. Let's see if we can find someone to raid on Twitch. Let's see. Where's the raid? Here. Anyone? There's the coding with strangers again. We raided him once. Let's do it again. All right, everyone. Bye.